Come on, girls.
Hey,
What's
hey.
going on with your sisters?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, and good
Good
evening.
afternoon, good evening, good morning.
Wherever you are in America.
Wherever you are in these parts of the earth. All right.
Yes.
I am Wyoming,
I'm Peg.
I'm Linda.
And I'm Charlene.
and we are
For
Four
Sisters
Sisters
Live.
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 Yes, happy snowy Saturday.
It's so
Snowy.
nice to see those flurries. They're just
Charlene did it.
different.
Charlene did it.
Thank
Charlene
you,
did
Charlene.
Yes, Dante. You know we
For
say
Charlene.
go for snow to Auntie Linda.
Yes.
Lord Jesus. We love snow. I'm watching that
I
on movie
do.
right now. I'm like, yes, this is life. But they
Yes.
need to do it during the weekday when everybody rushes so I can slow them down. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they're going to slow. They're going to slow. It's not enough to slow them down right now. No.
I know. It's too warm outside to keep it.
It is. It
Yeah.
really is. But I'm thankful just to see it.
Yeah, it's a great day. No matter what God gives us, we have to take it. It's a wonderful time to even say, well, look, we're in February. I mean, what can we expect?
We have been so blessed. We cannot be stressed out by this. I mean, and when you look at, and I was just looking, in California online, and, you have a lot of homeless people in California all year round. So this is really traumatic for those persons who are homeless on the West Coast. And that's what they were talking about. So we have to pray for them because they have to run for shelter this year.
Yeah,
they have to have real shelters.
The same thing that happened in Texas because they weren't used to snow either. And they were freezing. My girlfriend's like, we never had to turn on our heat.
I know. Right.
What?
And they all have fireplaces and never used them really, but they got a chance to use them.
They have to use something. Well, I'll be afraid to use it because they didn't get the chimney cleaned up because they haven't practiced this thing. That's going to be a problem if birds are in there.
Right.
Yeah. It's just devastating for anything that you're not used to. You're not used to the weather, these sorts of, you don't know how to dress. You don't know what to expect, especially traffic. I mean, did you see California and the traffic that's out there?
Yes.
Snow over Texas is on them highways, it's icy stuff. They're not used to driving.
They're not used to it, right?
So we do have to pray for them, right?
Yes, we do. We do.
So they can listen and
pray for patience that they take their time.
Please take your time and do it right. Please wear some thermals. You know what that is? It's under t-shirts and underpants.
Just put a couple of layers on. That's all you have to do.
We call it layers, but in the South, I call it, the other South, we call it, you better put them thermals on. Long johns. Okay, long johns. You gonna freeze. Okay?
It's going to be long.
Yeah. But in the meantime, it is what it is. It's like, is this global warming? Is this what they call it? About the part?
It's all about global warming because they've if the trees can't catch and hold and do the things that it was supposed to do to keep the earth warm or cool, there's no control. So God's doing what He has to do.
Yeah. Well, hey Peggy, what's going on in your world, girl? Because I heard about y'all girls. Come off that mic so you can talk to us and tell us what's really going on in your world.
What's been happening?
Because I heard something about y'all last night.
It's Charlene's fault. It's her fault.
It's those two women right there fault. I just chipped in.
Oh, okay. You was on the sideline. Is that Peggy? What's in your world, girl? What's going on?
Oh, girl. Last night we had the honor and the pleasure to be in the room.
Yes.
I mean, be in the room, and I have to applaud. We've been back to back on out there supporting our sisters, supporting the community, and to be together last night was even a joy and pleasure. Just to see our sisters come together, love up on each other, show up and represent. And for those who don't know, Sylvia Tremore Morrison is one of our honorary members, and we showed up last night to support her. I have to give kudos to Charlene because I was dealing with my uncle.
I give you a toot, my sister.
And I gave her the task to help me pull it together to get our sisters to show up, and they did it last night. So kudos to you, Charlene.
Yes,
we packed the room. No, kudos to y'all because the sisters are mighty, and sometimes we just need to be the fire for each other when you don't have that fire. And all I can hear Peggy saying, Linda, Wyoming, is let's keep this train moving. She didn't say it, Ashley, but I know that she had her uncle to deal with, and that came up all of a sudden, you know, and that's how we're supposed to be. Like, I don't need no, shout out or whatever, but that's what we are supposed to be for one another. And if you have that gift, like I do know I do, you get out there and you do what you have to do and make it happen. We packed the house. I didn't do that by myself. You took the bull by the horn and you also ran and you invited, Linda had her auntie out there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Old, treated her to see Mom's Mabley. Like, oh my God. And she loved it. I was over there just reading the book after Sylvia signed it. She was sitting in the corner, and we over there just taking pictures like Sisters with Sister Network do. And she was being patient. But I just want to say thank you, Linda, for bringing someone that definitely could relate to that era. Your 90-year-old auntie, and I'm sorry, just calling her 90-year-old auntie.
Aunt Fanny.
Say her name.
Aunt Fanny. Aunt Fanny.
Aunt Fanny. Happy birthday to Aunt Fanny.
Yes.
You know what? It was a true history lesson because there were women that shoulders we stand on.
Yeah.
Like Nancy Wilson and Lena Horne,
Josephine Baker,
Pearl Bailey.
Pearl Bailey.
Yes.
I mean, it was just stunning, and Sylvia did an amazing job. I mean, I didn't realize she sung so well.
She has a beautiful voice.
She has a beautiful voice.
Beautiful voice, yes.
Oh my goodness. And
the French scene was so funny. I love you. That was so funny.
She's an incredible person. I admire
and you
her.
know what she did, which added flavor to this conversation. She brought on the big screen the show of Sherry that she did a couple of weeks ago up in New York. Oh my God, that was added value to the conversation.
Oh yeah, Sherry Shepherd.
That was smart thinking.
That was smart.
They opened up the show with her entire interview on the Sherry Shepherd show. So that was the start of the event, about 7:50ish or so. Like beautiful, because if you weren't there and you didn't know, everybody kind of knows Sherry Shepherd, no matter how what age you are. Right. It was beautiful. You're right, Peggy.
Yeah, that was
awesome. Well, kudos to our girl Sylvia. Keep doing it, girl. You are worth it. Every bit of it. It's time. It's your time to shine.
Yes.
So we're going to continue to be here to support you as we do. And all of our sisters are doing great things. Thank you, sisters, for coming out and supporting. This is what we do. This is what we talk about, going out to
support that connection and that support. I was just when I look back, because I ended up having seats right down front, but when I look back, I was just so happy and elated that it was so many people around, because we wanted to show up for Sylvia. We wanted to show up for her and let her know that we got you.
Yeah,
we packed the house, Wyoming.
Yes, we did.
We, all of us.
Yes, that's good. But I had the pleasure of seeing the show previously before it came to Bowie. So I knew you all were in for a treat. And I really wanted to come. Of course, schedule for me has been crazy, but it's all good because when y'all there, I'm there, and y'all represent.
You were there, Wyoming. You were there. You and your boy that wrote the show.
My boy, and he did.
And he did ask about you.
And yes, history with my boy. But I'm so glad you all went. I'm just happy. What?
It was better than the one that we went to go see.
Okay.
It got better.
It should have.
It was better. And I told her that. Something, the magic. When she walked on the stage, and I'm sorry we're making this about her, but we got to make it about Peggy and Linda. When she walked on that stage, did you see her face light up when she looked out in the crowd? Like she like, whoa.
Yes.
Went into character.
Yes.
She said, I'm about to show off.
Yes.
You can feel it. Did you feel the shift?
Yes. Yeah.
I did.
That's awesome. I'm so happy. We got to have her on for a post conversation and interview about everything, her experiences, and so. I hope she'll be able to take this on another market, another city. To be maybe it is in the plan, but we'll see. But anyway, that's good. Kudos to you. We salute you, my sister, on this Black History Month. That's about to end.
Coming to a sweet spot. But it marches on.
It marches on for our Women's History.
Oh,
so we got a lot going on.
It marches on.
It marches on. And our Valentine's is over. Heart Health Day. We had a wonderful time last weekend.
Oh,
wonderful. Yes. Our kudos to our sister Florence Champagne.
Yes.
Oh, did a great job.
Congratulations, Florence. She did an amazing event. Again, I'm sorry, but shout out to my Sisters Network because we represented for that great event.
Yes.
We love you, Florence. Please don't ever forget that. We just represent.
Congratulations to all of our sisters out there who have their own business. Today is our entrepreneurship segment, and we have so many entrepreneurs within this organization, Peggy, that they understand the business and how it should be. But we're going to have a conversation today that's going to even enhance them and us even more. In that area. You want to kind of give us a little snippet of it, then we're going to go into our birthdays, and then we're going to bring our guest on.
Yeah, I have the pleasure of knowing attorney Elsa Smith. Several years back, we have connected and stayed connected. And I just thought, after just losing my uncle, how important it is about our legacy. Although I'm switching from family to business. And I thought about Elsa, and I'd asked her, would she join us in conversation just to look at legacy. You know, we all have a business or have had a business, but what do you do with that business? Okay, so it's about talking and having a conversation about legacy building. And I am so happy that Elsa is available to join us today. So stay tuned.
Ladies and gentlemen, you out there, please call someone and let them know we're talking about something very important that we're going to share today that will help grow their business, help understand more about what legacy is, and understand what it is about you knowing that your life, while you're on this earth, you can build these legacies and what the percentages are, even in our own community. Because our communities, we need to know this. We have to be educated.
Yeah, we have to be better planners.
And better planners. Yes.
Most important, we have to be better planners.
Better planners. So tell everyone, get them on the phone now. They got they got now. So we get our guest on. Please let them know it's very important if you have a business. If you are inspired to even have a business, start a business. This is for you too. So just tell them to come on and let's be able to share some good information. So who's got a birthday? Who's celebrating
birthday time? Birthday time.
Come on in, everybody.
All right, Linda, do your thing. Do your thing.
Okay.
You know, we have my sister, my biological sister, Marty, just celebrated birthday on November the 4th. Ruthie Lucas on the 5th. Lauren Lassiter on the 10th. Linda Marshall. Hey, Linda Marshall, she shows up every time.
Come on, then.
Her birthday on the 10th. Reverend Butts celebrated her birthday on the 12th. And we have Jacqueline Younger, who will be celebrating on the 26th. Right. So kudos to my sisters who's celebrating.
Yeah. Happy birthday to you. Yay. So we got our Black History moment. What's going on, Lynn? Come off the mic, baby. Come off the mic, Lynn. Come off the mute, Lynn.
I was making noise in here, making noise.
No wonder we couldn't hear you.
That's right. Did y'all miss my toot?
Yes, you did.
Okay. Oh, Lord. little from last night. That's all. But anyway, we have W.E.B. Du Bois, an activist, of course, an educator born in 1868 on February 23rd. We had Bishop Daniel A. Payne, who's a reformer and educator of the AME Church. He was born in 1811. We also, Marian Anderson, a symbol of the struggle to overcome discrimination in the arts, born 1897. We're celebrating her last. And Hattie McDaniels became the first African-American to win an Oscar for her role as Mammy in Gone with the Wind in 1940.
Wow.
So that's our historical moment and birthdays.
Yes,
that is
awesome.
guys, I didn't tell you that my mom was actually named after Marian Anderson.
Oh,
really?
Pleasure meeting her. My mom was about 6 years old. Her mother took her to one of the concerts.
Oh, so, that is awesome.
Yes.
That is so nice.
That is awesome. That's
right
a historical moment. She is history.
Yes.
And you know what? And last Saturday when we were at the Open My Heart Foundation event, Mama was so happy. Everybody was all around her, and she got to see all her babies.
Oh, she's still grinning. She's still smiling, and she's
it was so good to see her.
I think she is so sweet, and she looked wonderful.
And
I thank you,
Mama
Peggy,
Bell,
for her. Yes, she looked really, really wonderful. And I wanted to also say before we move on, our condolences to your family for the loss of your uncle, because you said it was your favorite uncle, and I understand that you have favorite uncles, favorite aunties, and things. But our condolences and prayers to your family.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely, for that. So anybody else? Oh, we have some community things. We don't have many community hot picks, but we have a couple of things going on in the community for our hot picks. Well, we have Dante. There's so much happening for our end of the Black History Month. But no, this is the Giz, a Black History Moment. We are bringing the Giz to the Lincoln Theater. Ladies and gentlemen, tickets are moving. They really are going fast. And we want to invite you in town, out of town, around town. Everybody just come on and get your tickets. It will be at the Lincoln Theater here in Washington, D.C., April 28th, 29th, and the 30th. So come on out so you can have a good time. It's going to be awesome. Thank you very much.
Now, you know for a fact we will be in the room. Okay.
Y'all gotta come. Come in no heels. I would tell you that.
Why?
I'm winning heels because you are gonna be. Girl, y'all ain't gonna sit down. You're gonna be jamming.
It's gonna be dancing.
Oh, girl.
Oh yeah.
Yes. I'm not coming in no heels.
Go. Come with your tennis shoes.
Come with some flats, some tennis.
Your cute shoes. Your cute flat shoes.
We call our chucks and whatever pearls.
You can dress up at top, but come on, I'm telling you, dress down if you want to.
We had so much fun at the first one. It was at MGM. I remember, and you're right. We stood up and we danced, and we sat down and we got up and we danced some more. So yes, you want to come with your comfortable attire and come ready to party.
Linda, I told you what to do. I'm booking with Linda. I'm giving you my money so you can go and book us together, because I'm like, and a Sunday. I don't want to go on a Saturday. I want to go when the real go-go people are there.
Yeah, I said
the real go-go.
Yeah, but it's going to be a lot of fun. So you are going to hear a lot more about it, a lot more commercials and things as we move forward. But thank you all for your support.
Good job.
Where is it going to, the venue?
The Lincoln
that right downtown. All right.
The historical Lincoln.
The historical Lincoln Theater.
We're just celebrating 100 years.
Oh, wow.
100 years, yes.
Is that still the Black Broadway district?
We call it, yes.
Right. Yes.
Right next to Ben's Chili Bowl.
Right next, Ben's Chili Bowl.
Yes. Right.
See, that's history right in there, guys.
Oh,
yeah.
Right in there. Can I share one thing about Black History Month? Guys, there are festivals that are going on right now in your community. Please don't miss one. Go to at least one. We encourage you here at Sisters for Sisters Network, 4SistersLIVE. Please go to one. There is one that is happening at the Arc in Southeast DC called the Black History Movie Festival, where they're doing the Chisholm effect. Shirley Chisholm, not Caesar, Chisholm effect. Okay, so check that out. I wish I could be there, but we have other ones that we're going to be looking into today. So go out and support anything that's going to support Black history. Yeah.
Yes.
And that's another community theater venue, the Arc.
Yeah, the Arc.
THEARC, the Arc, and it's located in Southeast DC. Please look it up, go online, and be able to support anything that they're doing for the community. Thank you very much for that. So, Peggy, can we get our guest name, because we have so much information, plethora of information to share.
I'm excited.
She said, let her in. Let her in. Let the money and the legacy in.
Oh my God.
So you want to introduce your guest?
Yes, let me bring her in as we speak. Hello, 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 Attorney
Hi.
Smith.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Sisters for Sisters Live. It is such an honor to be here. Thank you so much for welcoming me and for letting me
Yes.
into your circle. Thank you.
Well,
Thank you for
we thank
coming.
you for your time. Trust me.
Yes.
Elsa, take a moment and share with us who you are and anything you want to share with us. We are open forum. We want to learn from you, and we're going to give you the platform to share with us all the good information that you're willing to share.
Well, thank you so much. And first of all, let me publicly thank you, Peggy, for the gracious invitation. Peggy, everyone, Peggy and I have known each other for a number of years.
Yes.
Professionally, we're friends. She has been a guest on my podcast. And I've just admired her from afar for so many years, watching all the amazing things that she does in the
Oh,
community.
thank
So
you.
I want to publicly thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, welcome. As you met Wyoming and Linda and Charlene, and we're all ears because we
Wonderful.
have been in that arena, are still working in the arena of owning a business and business owners. But you take the platform; it's all yours. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, to tell everyone a bit about myself, I'm Elsa W. Smith. I'm the owner of the law offices of Elsa W. Smith. I am licensed in the state of Maryland and in DC. I've been an attorney for over 25 years. My practice, I practice in different areas, but for the last number of years, I have been focusing almost exclusively in the areas of estate planning, probate, and small business formation. I also, you mentioned earlier, I mentioned earlier that I had Peggy on my podcast. The podcast I have now, it's called Wills, Women, and Wealth. And you'll hear a little bit more about that towards the end of my presentation. But I'm about empowering women through estate planning. And as you can see, I am a woman of color, and specifically, I am of Afro-Cuban descent. So it has been a special passion, a particular passion of mine to not only speak to women, but women who look like me. Because for so many years, the estate planning world, estate planning marketing has not, quite frankly, has not spoken to people that look like me. And I wanted to do my part to change that. I wanted to take up space in a predominantly white, predominantly male sector of the law. Just a little factoid, the American Bar Association estimates that I believe it's like less than 5% of lawyers in the United States are Black. Now, within that, can you imagine the sliver that are in estate planning? So it is of utmost importance that we increase diversity, but it's also diversity, equity, and inclusion, particularly in the area of estate planning. A little bit more about me. I am a member of the Maryland State Bar Association, and I belong to the Estates and Trust Law Section Council. That is the governing body of the estate planning group within the association. And within that, I am the chairperson of the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee. And what we strive to do is not only to attract, retain, and really move through a pipeline estate planning attorneys who are diverse, particularly of color, and bring them in, show them the resources that we have, and expose them to not only other resources but people that can not only enhance them personally but so professionally. So I can tell you go on and on, but I really want to get to my presentation today. And again, I want to thank Sisters for Sisters, 4SistersLIVE, I should say, for inviting me today. So today's topic is how business owners can protect their legacy. All right, next slide, please. So what are we talking about when we talk about a legacy? And I always like to start off with this quote from Maya Angelou. Your legacy is every life that you've touched. And I just want you to think about that for a minute.
Beautiful.
A legacy is, it's a lasting impact on the world. It's a gift, right? That is passed down through generations, whether it's money, property, or even stories, right? It can also be a business or the profits from a business, whether it's set up, diverted to a foundation or a charity or whatever it is that you want. But legacy or leaving a legacy means dreaming big and changing the world for the better, right? So why do we care about a legacy? If we can go back one slide, please. Thank you. So why do we care about a legacy? People want to know that their life has meaning, right? When you see that your experience and perspectives matter, then it helps you gain clarity on the things that are most important to you. So a lot of these messages, they're hard learned through life experiences that give you priceless insights that you can share by passing it on to your children, grandchildren, nieces, nephews, others in your sphere of influence. So I want you to ask yourself, if you knew with certainty that you only had a few more years of life to live, how would you spend those years and why? Just think on that. What message do you want to send with your life to the world and those who matter most to you? And one last point. Imagine that you are attending your own funeral. What would you want your family and friends to say about you and how you lived your life? Right? So I know I gave you a lot to think about, but just please, you're so important when we start thinking about legacy. So legacy, we're creating a legacy every day of our lives. So the question is, what kind of legacy do you want to leave? Right? So next slide, please. Now, today we're going to talk about just a few points. One, I want to address some myths and misconceptions about estate planning. We are also going to talk about some facts related to the racial wealth gap in this country. We're going to also discuss the great wealth transfer that has been happening for a number of years. It's happening right now. And then we're going to end off with estate planning considerations, but specifically for business owners. Now, before we go on to the next slide, let's talk about those myths. One of those, and I chuckle almost because I hear them almost weekly, whether it's from lay people in passing, stuff I see on the internet, TikTok, all kinds of stuff. But the first myth is, I don't have enough assets to create an estate plan. I think everybody, ladies, everybody on the live stream, everybody watching has probably heard someone say that at least once. Let me bust that bubble, shatter that myth right now. An estate is everything that you own. That is a car, antiques, bank accounts, checking accounts, your retirement accounts, the 401k, and if you're my friends in the government, your TSP, all those things are part of your estate. Estate planning is creating a blueprint, not only to protect you today, but also to dictate what's going to happen to those assets when you are no longer here, right? So even if you just have a bank account and a car, you have an estate, right? And that is worth protecting. Estate planning varies, of course, by what you have in your estate. But the fact is, you have an estate, and chances are everybody watching this right now has an estate as well. Another myth, more like a misconception, and this might make you chuckle or clutch your pearls, depending on how real this hits home.
Yes.
When I give my daughter access to my bank account, she can only use the money to pay for my medical expenses. Oh dear. How many times have I heard that one? Let me explain to everyone. Once you put someone on your checking account or your savings account as a joint owner, as a signer, they legally have the power to wipe you out, can withdraw all those funds from your account. Doesn't matter what you and the daughter discussed at the kitchen table about what you wanted her to do. The fact is she has the legal authority to go in there and the bank can't stop her. Right? So why do I bring that up? Because I hear it so often. And in this scenario, if the intent is to pay for medical expenses, there are other ways that can be done, short of naming someone on a checking or a savings account. And that underscores the need to just be so judicious about who you are placing, what roles you're giving people in your estate plan, not making decisions out of guilt. As I tell each of my clients, we want to make a decision out of empowerment and knowledge, never out of guilt, never out of anger. Okay, because I need you to be clear when we are crafting your estate plan. Here's another myth. I don't need to worry about incapacity until I'm much older. Guess what? Young people get hit by cars every day. Young people can suffer a stroke. Young people can have heart attacks. Now, what are we saying? Now, the term young is obviously going to vary because we are living longer. Right now, 50, 60 nowadays is kind of young, considering that people are living till their 90s and God bless them, their 100s and beyond, right? So, let's say a person is in their 20s and they believe that they are invincible, immortal, they're just going to live forever. Well, tragedies do happen, and accidents. That's what we don't foresee them. That's why they're called accidents. I've had, as a quick aside, I've had colleagues, I'm 52, I'll be 53 in a couple months, but I've had colleagues that are 20, maybe 15, 20 years my senior, who have sadly had passed away, have died of medical reasons. Some things that are genetic, certain things are stress related, and they've died and no one saw it coming. So, I bring all that not to be very macabre, very sad, but to be honest, that we don't know, and I'm going to get a little spiritual here, the day nor the hour. Okay. We don't know. So all my passion is, all I'm trying to do is to raise awareness and kind of, just sound the alarm, particularly in our community, because I'm honestly, and I get a little emotional about this, I'm just tired of seeing us, give up assets to the government, not have a plan, and leaving our families in chaos. All right. So, all right, let me gather myself and keep going. The next, another myth, and you can see how passionate I am about this, everybody. So the other myth that I hear quite often is, well, I don't need an estate plan. I already told everyone who gets what. No. Just because you had a conversation at the last family reunion and said that so-and-so was going to get the house and so-and-so was going to get the cars and whatnot, that doesn't count. It doesn't hold water in a court. And it's in your estate, because you don't have a will or a trust or anything, any document indicating what you want to happen, your estate is going to go through the probate process. And probate is the court administration of your assets, which in and of itself is not such a bad thing, but it does cost money to go through that process. And there are ways to avoid that with proper planning. Now, the last myth before we go on is, I just need a simple will. Now, many approach the estate planning process was saying, well, I just need a simple will. I don't need anything complex. Well, I mean, you don't know what you need. It's kind of like, do you tell your doctors like, doc, look, it's just a pain in my side. I really don't need surgery. Yeah. Until he or she finds out that, yeah, you need, to take those gallstones out, or you've got some other pain. You're like, yeah, you can't diagnose yourself. So that's why you want to consult with a professional, consult with an estate planning attorney who can look at your entire picture, look at your assets. You may very well need just a will, but chances are, if you don't have any protections, anything to protect you while you're alive, you're probably going to need a power of attorney. You might need an advance directive, and we're going to talk very briefly about those in a minute. But I'm just trying to let you know that you don't know what you don't know. Okay, in a nutshell. So now I want to go on to the next slide, please. Okay, the great wealth transfer. Now it's happening now, and I created this graphic to just bring the concept home. Since 2018 and through the year 2042. It's a consulting firm called Cerulli, Cerulli Associates, did some research, and according to their study, the silent generation, that's people who were born between 1928 and 1945 and lived through World War II and the Great Depression, and the boomers who were born from 1946 to 64, they are expected to transfer at least 70 trillion, that's with a T, right, between the years 2018 and 2042. So that's what's called the Great Wealth Transfer. 61 trillion of that is going to the Gen Xers. Okay, those are the Americans that are born between 1965 and 1980. So they're children, and then millennial kids who were born between 81 and 1996. And the rest is donated to philanthropic concerns, right? So what do these transfers look like? They're savings, they are life insurance proceeds, and other investments that are being transferred through beneficiary designations, some through trusts that have been created. So how does this apply to communities of color, right? We should keep in mind that, institutional racism, barriers to accessing federal programs, to purchase property, and other ills, are even the remnants of slavery itself, contributed to what we call today the racial wealth gap. So that means that many of us are not transferring as much as other communities. And my point in bringing this up is certainly not to discourage you, but it's again, as I'm doing from the beginning, it's raising awareness. And it is crucial that we get our affairs in order so that we are part of that great wealth transfer, so that we are able to transfer our legacies to family members, to institutions, right? Many people forget that, philanthropic efforts also include, donating to the university that you graduated from, donating to your place of worship, donating to the causes that mean something to you, that had some impact on your life. And you, fortunately, now have the ability to be a blessing, I say, to those that have been a blessing to you. See, that's also a part of how what your legacy is, what you're leaving behind, the seeds that you're planting, right? Yes. So and that's also a part of why estate planning is so important. Next slide, please. Next slide. Thank you. Okay, a few facts. This is important. Also, a few facts about minorities and the transfer of wealth. There was a study back in 2021 done by the U.S. Bank, and the study was called Building Black Wealth Insights. and they highlighted the financial needs, goals, and challenges of Black Americans with at least $25,000 in investable assets. Okay, so their study, 2 points, yielded 77% of Black respondents think that the racial wealth gap will either increase and the best case scenario remain the same by 2030. 69% of Black consumers, far more than other racial groups surveyed, feel a deep sense of responsibility to help their communities financially. They are also more committed to leaving a financial legacy for the next generation. Now, I want to pause here for a second, because a lot of times, and I've had discussions with other professionals, like on my podcast, about this subject, about philanthropy in communities of color, in the Black community. And if you would ask someone on the street, well, are you into philanthropy? I might, look at you like, what? No, not me. But if you actually engage them in conversation, you'll find out that possibly they may tithe to their church. They may give back, donations to their alumni association, depending on what college or university they went to. They may donate monies to their communities, like Little League or something, to help buy uniforms and stuff. All those are donations, right? The thing about estate plan is it helps you be more strategic about it, and may help you realize some tax savings in the donations that you're making, right? It's just being smarter about what we're already doing. As a community, we are givers. We give to families when they're in need. As a matter of fact, there are other studies not reflected here, but there are other studies that show that one of the reasons why the current generations aren't as far ahead in terms of the building of assets as other communities are is because we do give assets. We do spend a lot of our income, or a significant portion of it, maybe helping other family members, even helping, grandparents, great grandparents, right? So it's not that it's right or wrong, certainly not, but I'm just bringing that up to give you context as to how we operate as a community and what some of the realities are, and that we're getting ahead, but we just need to be a little smarter about how we give money and the timing and everything. Again, underscoring the need for good estate planning. Next slide, please. Okay. So the facts tell us that the racial wealth gap exists, and it is huge. Black Americans do place a high priority on giving and helping their communities. And Black Americans are also committed to leaving a financial legacy for the next generation. All right. So a little bitter with the sweet about our financial picture right now. So next slide, please. All right. Now I want to talk about key estate planning considerations for business owners. So this segment deals with entrepreneurship, but I also want to weave in how estate planning and other concepts are so important for business owners to keep in mind. So the first one is choosing the correct business structure. For so many reasons, you want to make sure that if you own a business, that if it can be avoided at all, you're not operating as just a sole proprietor, no protection whatsoever. Why is that important? Because if somebody wants to sue your business, if there's no structure in place, whether it's an LLC, a partnership, a corporation, they have access and can deplete your assets and can bankrupt you, right? So that is why one of the main reasons why choosing the correct, business structure is so important. Another thing is having liability insurance. Now, there are several types of liability insurance that business owners can consider, including general liability insurance, professional liability insurance. Just a side note, as an attorney, I not only have business insurance to safeguard the assets, the physical assets of my firm, but I also carry malpractice liability insurance, right? So depending on your area of service, what products or services you render, you want to look at what types of insurance are necessary in order to protect what you're working so hard to build. Another type of insurance, product liability insurance, cyber liability insurance. And this type of insurance provides coverage for losses resulting from data breaches or cyber threats, right? Really important to keep in mind, specifically now, we hear about breaches, large companies are facing breaches, right? So it's of the utmost important that we do what we can to safeguard our data as well. Then there's employment practices liability insurance. That's the type of insurance that covers claims arising from employment-related issues, wrongful termination, discrimination, or harassment. Again, these are types of, and of course, one last one, directors and officers liability insurance. That provides coverage for claims arising from decisions made from the business's directors or officers, right? So in all of these, you want to consult with an expert in the insurance field to really examine your particular situation and see what types of insurance are best suited to protect you and your business. It also depends on what kind of risk profile you have. The next thing you want to consider as a business owner is, whether to create a will or a trust. Now, I mentioned there are other documents, but I just want to talk about these two just very briefly. Wills and trust can be very useful planning tools for business owners, but they serve different purposes. Now, a will, just as a refresher, it's a legal document that outlines how a person's assets, including their business, should be distributed after their death, right? So a will allows business owners to name a personal representative who's going to manage the estate and ensure that their wishes are carried out, right? And a trust, on the other hand, and the more popular one that you probably have heard of, is the revocable living trust, right? A trust is a legal arrangement, right, in which a trustee manages the assets for the benefit of a beneficiary. The trust can be used to transfer ownership of a business or other assets into it while the owner is still alive, right? And they can provide for, and trust can provide for the management and distribution of those assets after the owner has died, right? The choice between a will or a trust depends on a lot of factors, including the size of the estate, right? The complexity of the business, the owner's own goals for their assets after their death. So it's really important to consult with an estate planning attorney and or a financial planner, right, to determine the best option for your specific situation. In some cases, you may need both a will and a trust. But again, that's something that's discussed with the professional, and you should not, please don't try to DIY this, especially if you have a business. All right. Another point is naming guardians for minor children. A lot of business owners in at least the US market are women, and particularly Black women, right? And just friends, colleagues, family members, we are just crushing it. The numbers are amazing as to how many female business owners there are out there. And a lot of them, not all, of course, a lot of them are moms too, right? They have young kids. They're trying to, they're balancing motherhood and being a business owner, and they're crushing it. They're building, but they've got nothing in place to say, okay, who's going to take care of little Susie if I go to work next week and I have a heart attack,
Mm-hmm.
You know, what is the game plan? And it is not enough, and I know I may ruffle some feathers, but it is not enough to say, oh, you know, mama will come in and, you know, she will take care of little Susie, or grandma will come in and take care of little Susie. You know what? Grandma's tired. You know, grandma is probably like 60, 70, 80 plus. Grandma's
right.
right. Grandma's tired. And mom, you know, she's trying to, you know, build herself up too. So it's really, honestly, kind of not fair. Just to use them as a default. Like I said, I know I'm going to ruffle some feathers, but this is about taking responsibility, right? For your life, and not using your family as like, just like a crutch, like a default. It's fine if you want to include them making a conscious decision into your plan after you talk to them and see whether they're in a position to play a role in your plan, right? But just that old, you know, grandma will fit it. You know, grandma wants to live her life too. And let's not assume that grandma is just, you know, sitting in a rocking chair on a porch, you know, just put out that grandma may want to write a book. Grandma may want to travel, you know, worked 30, 40 years, as I'm thinking of a few friends of mine who've like worked 30, 40 years. And this is like their next chapter. And they don't want to, they've done the child rearing, right? They're ready. They want to travel. They want to go to, you know, the Paris. They want to go to South America. They want to go to South Africa, wherever it is they want to go. They want to travel.
That's true.
So, right? Attorney Smith, I want to, because we only have a minute left for your presentation. You have a plethora of information here that would take us all day to go through. And unfortunately, we will not be able to go through the rest of these. But I want to be able to take a minute, just a minute left, because there's some people that may have some questions. We have a question. And let's take 3 minutes of the rest of your segment to let's go through some questions that you may be able to answer at this point.
Absolutely.
Does anyone have any questions?
And let me say, while the questions are coming in, that if anyone, you can reach out to me via social media. There's a free guide. You can go on my website to really get you started on your estate plan, and you can download that. Go to the resources tab and just download. It's an absolutely free resource. So yes, please let me have any questions. And of course, there on the screen is where you can follow me on social media. I also have a podcast, the Wills, Women, and Wealth podcast. It's on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and Google Podcasts, addressing all of these issues and more. And I interview professionals in finance, health, wealth, and more.
Can you tell us the day and time of your podcast?
Absolutely. It airs twice a month, Wednesdays at 1:30 p.m.
Wednesdays.
Oh, awesome. Well, I have a question, Elsa. You said a lot about like just the transfer of wealth, which is huge, but understanding what legacy truly is, and us donating not only to our families, but to our institutions like our HBCUs that I attended and other professional schools that I really like, and I want them to be here years after I leave here in a community. I think that's a very educational point, not only for families, but also if you have that business. So thank you for like sharing that information. I want to know, are you doing workshops on that where you actually find people kind of shocked that you can leave money to an institution?
I do. I've been on my website, in the About Me section, you'll see a lot of the organizations, including fraternities and sororities where I've spoken. And I do get the ahas. I do get the light bulbs going off, because people don't think about that. They don't think about, and how easy it is to do. And a lot of times when people think about, just to use your example, Charlene, about giving back to their HBCU where they graduated from, you can be a blessing with, a few $100s. I mean, that can mean the difference between somebody sitting out a semester or not. You don't need to have the $1 million endowment. You can make a difference with what you have.
Good question.
That's
good.
Question. Linda, you have a question?
Yeah, what age should our listeners begin this planning for estate planning? What do you recommend? Because we know that they're working and they really don't know this. So how would you answer that?
Honestly, I mean, any adult needs an estate plan. That's how crucial. Even if you have a young adult who's going off to college, they need an estate plan. It's going to look probably a little different than yours, but at a minimum, they need an advance directive. That's the power to tell a doctor what their medical wishes are when they can communicate for themselves. They need a power of attorney to let you, mom or dad, make decisions for them and transact business in their name when they cannot. Because once they're adult, they're in college, you don't have access to you don't have a right to their medical information. So you need those documents in order to give you the power to do what you need to for that adult child. So it starts that early and all through adulthood.
So Peggy, I know you said it's very important. Peggy has I know she got to touch on a family matter even right now.
Look, Elsa, I'm sitting here with all these notes. I don't know where to start.
Yeah.
This is so awesome. We could go all day with this.
Yeah.
I think the most powerful piece in this is when you talked about the myth of not, how we start thinking. And when you start pulling it out of me, I'm like saying, oh my God, oh my goodness, I didn't think about that. I didn't think about this. And so we as an organization are looking at the women in our organization that are business owners, and we're going to be doing a series of workshops. And so please know I will be calling on you because these sisters need to know this information. I mean, I'm like, it's something that was so powerful that you said was talking about legacy. We think about legacy and we think about finance and money. But the key that you just said was we leave stories behind. And that's our legacy.
That's true. Yeah.
And that was so profound. I can't share my list. I got too much stuff here. So we're going to have you come back, but go ahead. Why?
No, I'm just full of questions because when you talk about family, and it's particularly, and I'm going to say this quickly, about the banking piece, because it's so important that families talk about if I have, and I'll use me for an example, my sister on shared bank with my mom. She's 85 years old, and she has my sister and I. So if something happens, of course, we can go into the bank and go ahead and sign a check, and she would know that we're paying like her light bill, or we're paying my own light bill, because we have the right to go in. Would families even think that they will rob their own family to go into the bank knowing you have the power of attorney to go in and sign and take money out? And that's really a real thing there that needs to be talked about, how families going in and taking money out of their family's estate without question. Because even if they're not on there, if something happens, the bank is going to question you because you don't even have the right to go in and even take money out to even bury your family member.
Wyoming, I'm going to go one step deeper on that. And it doesn't matter if you say, oh, but I'll put it back. No.
That's
once
so
you've taken it for yourself, you have breached that fiduciary duty that you have to mom, grandma, whoever gave you that power.
So
it doesn't matter.
Wow, that's good to know. Thank you so much. But thank you for being here with us. We really appreciate you. We're going to come back with you again.
Yeah,
a workshop.
It has to be a part 2 on this one.
Well, it's a part 2 to everything we invite.
It's always a part 2.
It's always a part 2.
But you know what I think they should take away right here on this show? Sister Sisters Network, you heard it best right here with our sister attorney here. Guys, go on and write that will and leave Sister Sisters Network inside of that will. I said it, okay? She's just like that HBCU. So you know you about to leave here, and several sisters have left within the organization, but I do want to make that a public announcement because it just makes sense. And since it makes sense to me, I need to, apply what I learned, right?
Aside for the sisters, yes.
It's an organization that continue to have to go on even when we're not here.
Exactly.
So that's what that's about in terms of leaving something for the community of this organization to go on for years and years and years to come. So thank you so much again, Attorney Elsa Smith. We will always salute a sister that's doing great work in our community for our Black women. Thank you, and you continue to have a great day.
Thank you so much. It's been an honor and a pleasure.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you.
Yes.
Elsa.
Wow, that was
awesome.
That was so amazing.
It's like
so much to learn in our community, because the learning did not happen 100 years ago, so we have to catch up. We have to catch up for our parents who did not have that information from their parents. So this is the time, and I believe that we are the generation that will actually do this because we're knowledgeable. We know, so we have to teach our children now. And I think it's so important that we're hearing this because it's a now situation.
Yeah, it's very
important. It's a now situation. We got so much to talk, Peggy. That is just a wealth.
Wealth of information. Wealth of information. So next week, what's next? Oh God, this month is gone.
It's your week. What you talking about?
So it's my week again. We'll just say that we're gonna have one of our sisters on. That she and I being honored at Dr. Tashika Green's event coming up in March, and that is our own Judith Clark will be here with us.
Oh, Women's History Month is
Women's History Month. Yes, I'm excited.
I just want to do one shout out. I forgot for our history moment in 1943, Gamma Phi Delta sorority, which I am a part of. We're celebrating our Founders Weekend, so I just want to shout out to all of our sisters, our Soras all over the country, and Sister Sora Betty Seltzer. She's one of my sisters as well. From Delta Pi. So we're having an event to this right after I leave here. We're having our Founders Day. So the pink and blue,
you're on.
All right.
All righty. Well, we've had a great time today. And what time is it? It's time for
you to walk in your purpose and prosperity.
See you all. Thanks for joining. We out. Bye-bye.